guys, it's Mia Redrick here, and I've got an incredible topic today. I'm going to be teaching how failure and personal crises really position you to win, and you're going to love this scope. It is a mindset scope, and it is going to go inside of my scope school. If you're interested in that, all you need to do is check out my bio here on Periscope. I'm Mia Redrick. I'm the mom strategist, and I support moms with life and business success. You can always check me out at miaredrick.com. And what I love to scope about is to really support you with understanding that you are product, that because you are product, all right? And that you can take your education, your gifts, your background, and package that into amazing product that people will buy from you from around the world. Hey, Shaitan, good to see you. I'm going to be breaking down on this scope today how failure and personal crises position you to win, all right? Hey, darling, good to see you. And, you know, it's a story that I know, and I know that you know, because we all have failed. We all have had personal crises. And at times, sometimes you can wonder, like, is this it? Should I quit? Is it over? It's just the beginning, all right? And you're going to love this scope. And do me a favor, if you haven't done so already, please share the scope with anyone that you think might benefit, anyone that you know, maybe they've had a personal crisis as well. Thank you so much for sharing. And you know what? They need some encouragement. They need some hope. They need some assurance that it's going to be all right. And it is absolutely going to be all right. I'm going to introduce myself really quickly and then jump right into the topic. I'm Mia Redrick. I'm the mom strategist. I support clients with life and business success. You can always check me out at miaredrick.com and sign up for my newsletter list there. A lot of you guys already do that, which is awesome. And I'd love to stay connected to you beyond Periscope. You know, I got started my business 13 years ago, and I decided to do what I absolutely love, right? And combine my background as a corporate trainer and my love of motherhood into a business. Now, the challenge I had was that the topic or the title, mom coaching, wasn't very popular 13 years ago, so nobody knew what it was, all right? And so I really had the distinct job of creating a brand from scratch, like literally. And I went to a small business resource center to see if someone could help me take these two things that I loved so much and merge those into a business. And I was told that my idea did not make any sense and that I should go back to corporate America. And I always tell you that because maybe you're like me. Maybe you've got this great idea. You think it's a great idea, but you don't know anyone else doing it. And, you know, you're trying to figure out if you can bring this to the marketplace. And I'm telling you that you can. And sometimes if someone hasn't seen it before, they might tell you that it's not possible, but that's not real, because I've coached over 602 clients. Another 113 of my clients are authors. More than half of them are #1 Amazon bestsellers. And what I get to do today is I combine my talent as a corporate trainer and my love of motherhood into a business. You get it? All right. You got it. All right. You got it. All right. And as a result of being an entrepreneur, I've had the great privilege to be a full-time entrepreneur for over 2 decades. And I love that. I own a commercial laundry that's a mid-sized business, as well as a coaching practice that's very successful. And I invest in real estate as well. And I tell you that because I think when you're building a business, you're not looking to be home or to build a business that creates freedom for, 1 year or 2 years. You want sustainable success. And I've been home for over 2 decades. And that's my come from when I'm teaching you guys how to get free and how to stay free, right? If you're interested in that, you're going to love everything that I scope about, all right? As a result of being an entrepreneur, my 18, 15, and 11-year-old have never seen either one of their parents ever work a job. And I always think that's a pretty cool honor, because that's kind of cool, right? And I'm not against jobs, but my kids have never seen their parents work conventional jobs because we've had successful businesses, all right? When did you stop and realize it was time to do what you love? All right, so tell me your name. What happened actually was I was as a parent. My oldest son is 18, so he was 5 years old, and I was a stay-at-home mom. Hey, yada, and I loved being a stay-at-home mom, and I had quality of life on lock. Like, I loved being a stay-at-home mom. That was like my thing. But I also knew that I was a smart woman, educated woman, and I wanted to be able to use my gifts and my talents in the marketplace as a business owner. And that's where that light kind of hit me. Like, I can go back to work and in my own thing and leverage my own talents. And I wanted to combine the two things that I absolutely loved. And I also felt that, you know what, I want to make sure that I don't ever have to compromise quality of life, because I really had that. And I just really wanted to be able to monetize my gifts. And that's my answer to your question. All right. Thank you. That was a great question, by the way. Nobody's ever asked me that, but that's really it for me. And so I believe that your life informs your business. Your business doesn't inform your life. And because I entered my business knowing that quality of life was important to me, that was always a factor from the very beginning that I considered. Like, when do I want to work? What time do I want to work? How many clients do I want to have? What kind of models do I want to set up? So that I could always honor quality of life, so that things that really mattered the most to me could always show up for me in my business, in my life, right? So, and I think a lot of entrepreneurs never factor that. I work with tons of entrepreneurs who do exceptionally well in their businesses, but they don't get to see their kids. They work like all the time, and they're looking to rework those models so that they have both quality of life and they have a business that provides them an amazing income as well. All right. All right, so today I'm going to be teaching you guys how failure and personal crises positions you to win, all right? I'm Mia Redrick. Hey, Jason. I'm the mom strategist. Hey, Jackie. You guys are going to love the scope, and I'm going to be breaking this down. If you haven't shared with anyone that you think might benefit, now's the time, a great time to do that. Okay, one more question. I have a 3-year-old and a 7-year-old. You work 50 hours a week, so I want to stop and focus on opening a group home, right? Opening a group home, yes. And then the most important thing I will say to you about opening a group home is going to be your training, your ability to duplicate yourself, okay? Because if you don't duplicate yourself, opening a group home can be very grueling because it's open 24 hours a day, can be very lucrative, but it can be very grueling if you don't have a team that you can trust. So from the very beginning, you really want to focus on your infrastructure and your systems. My sister ran a pretty lucrative group home for 4 or 5 years, and that's one of the things that you really need to focus on is the training of your staff, making sure you've got, your team is like crucial, because otherwise you're going to be there, right, when somebody can't show up. And you want to make sure that you limit your risk for liabilities, because if your staff is not properly trained when they're dealing with those people, you're completely liable in that business. All right. So I'm going to get started. I hope you guys are ready. Today I'm going to be teaching on how failures and personal crises position you to win big, Yes, that's exactly right. That's exactly right, Paget. I hope I said your name right, all right? Thank you so much for joining me, all right? The first reason that you're going to be positioned to win through your failures and your crises is because when you fail, it shifts your position and it changes your view. And so I know a lot of times when people fail, or things don't work, or you feel like the wind has been knocked out of you, or maybe your faith is gone in that thing that you've been hoping for and you thought that was going to work. Literally, what happens is it shifts your position and it changes your view. And as a result of that, you have a benefit that you get to see opportunities, you get to see people for who they truly are, you get to see things that you wouldn't have seen, if things stayed the exact same way. And I know this to be true, and it is a blessing in your life. And yeah, all right. And if you've ever had an opportunity or something that you thought was working, or maybe you lost business that you thought that you had on lock, and it's just not, didn't work out anymore. What's happening is you're being repositioned, and now you get to stand on the experience that you've had, and now you have an opportunity to look at what you have or left, okay, and what you never had, all right? Because what happens sometimes when you have a personal crisis is that people who were never really for you, they leave you, all right? And you realize that the things that you thought you were standing on, the relationships you thought you were standing on, the maybe even the savings you thought you had, you realize you weren't really set up for the kind of success that you really wanted. And this is your opportunity to reposition. And now that you can see that because of these holes, even though they might hurt, because of those holes, you're now in a better position to set yourself up properly the next time around. I want you to know that none of this happened by accident. It happened to support you. It happened to serve you, all right? So if you are wondering how your failures and your personal crises really set you up to win, I believe that it changes what you see. It literally, because now you're dealing with like putting out fires. Now you're looking at the holes in the systems, the things that you didn't know already to put in place. And as a result of that, you're like, man, how did this happen? It's just because you didn't know. And now you have an opportunity to learn from your mistakes and to grow. And the next time around, you will not make those same mistakes again, even though it hurts. All right. Number two. Oh, and I want to say this too. The other thing I wrote here is that you get to ask different questions of yourself, of life, of business, of your relationships. And that's a really powerful place to be in also, as a result of a crisis in your life, right? And your positioning change, you get to look at things and say, like, why did you guys do this? Why did I do this? All right. Thank you so much. All right. I know. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. All right. So number two, the number two thing that I want you to know about how failure and personal crises position you to win is that it allows you to renegotiate your terms. Okay. But you get to stand on your history. Hear me now. You get to renegotiate your terms, right? But you get to stand on your history. So like you had an opportunity, you failed, you made a mistake, but it was a learning opportunity. It may have been painful for you, but now when you come back, you get to renegotiate the terms, right? And you realize from the first time out, whatever you did that didn't work, the terms that weren't good for you, the contract the clauses that you didn't put in, you know what I mean? When you didn't look and check and see within 90 days whether or not your contract was coming up for renewal or not, when the things that you didn't do, when you renegotiate your contract, now you have an opportunity to really protect your interests. And that's a really great thing, right? Because you get to stand on your history. And I think a lot of times we forget about that when we're going through a personal crisis and we're like, I'm never doing this again. When you do it again, you get to do it right. All right. And success is built on failure. The hearts are not there. But I'm telling you, because when you stand on your history, that equals wisdom. And that's going to set you up in a huge way for incredible success. And I want you to be encouraged. This is why you will win if you come back. And this is why you will win if you don't quit. All right. This is why you will win when you sit in front of the same people to renegotiate, because you're smarter. You've learned from your mistakes, and now you're fully armed with information that you didn't even know before that would serve your highest good. All right. The number three thing you need to know is that how failure and success position you to win. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Is that it's made you vulnerable. All right. And, the fact of the matter is you can never get what you need acting like you already have it. And one of the things that a lot of entrepreneurs really suffer from is like, I got this. You know what I mean? The invincible CEO, you know what I'm talking about. And maybe that's you. All right. But when you have a personal crisis or a failure, you have to start calling people, relying on people, and figuring out what support really is there. And I think from that, what you start to do is understand that you don't have to build a business only on your shoulders. You have to have a relationships with other people, and that requires you to be vulnerable and also to be transparent about what it is that you need, right? You can never get what you need, Shaitan, acting like you already have it. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs really suffer from that because they're trying to show people that they're already successful, believe in me, have confidence in me, but vulnerability is really the key. All right. And when you're able to go to someone and say, this is what I need. Great story. I went to see Ariana Huffington a couple of years ago. Have a total girl crush on Ariana Huffington. Great, great, great storyteller, by the way. Anyway, she was telling the story how when she was in the market to start the Huffington Post, how she went to all of her friends and she borrowed their money from them, and then she lost their money. Okay, so she borrowed their money and then she lost their money, and then she needed more money, and then she borrowed the bank's money and she lost their money. All right, and then she said, but she had this dream and it wouldn't go away. And she went again to the bank to borrow money. And they said, no, 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 not this time. And she had a hissy fit in the bank, right? And they ended up loaning her money and she lost their money also, okay? And so what I'm saying is that, she ended up doing the largest blogging deal in history with AOL, $400 million. They paid her to put the Huffington Post inside of AOL. What's my point? My point is she lost 3 times. Like, she lost everybody's money. Everybody that was close to her that loaned her money, she lost their money and the bank's money. But it didn't stop her, all right? And it didn't stop her from asking for what she needed. And eventually, because she had history, right? Because she was renegotiating her terms, because she got to learn from her mistakes, you know what? She was able to sell that same business for over $400 million. Well, not that business, but she was able to sell the opportunity to locate her content inside of the AOL, news feed for $400 million. Not bad. Okay, not bad. So if you're vulnerable, great things are going to happen. And that means you got to ask for what you need, okay? And you got to be thinking about, what's missing from your world. Like, why are you not able to get to where you are? What resources do you need? What people do you need in your world? And to me, when you fail or you have a personal crisis, this is a really tremendous opportunity for you to be able to ask those questions, all right? What money do you need? Do you need someone to help you with your contracts? Do you need someone that supports you with negotiations? What do you need? And this is a really great opportunity for you to get exactly that. It's an opportunity. And that's how I see it, all right? And number four, what I've written here, which is how failure and personal crises position you to win. Number 4 is it allows you to start over. Okay? Start over. And some of you guys, starting over is a good thing. All right? And sometimes if your ego is wounded, you know what I mean? You keep reliving your failures over and over again. And as a result of that, you make starting over really difficult. But what I want you to understand is that starting over is a blessing when you've had failure and you have personal crises, because you're starting over, but it's not like you're starting new. You're starting with information, you're starting with context, you're starting with contacts, and you're starting with context, all right, about that business. And now you have the opportunity to stand on your own shoulders and do it differently, all right? And so for those of you who are like, I don't know if I'm ever going to do this, or you're afraid or about, what other people are going to say about you if you go launch again, because maybe they know you failed, all right? It's not their deal, it's your deal, all right? I'm telling you that the benefit is that you get to start over, and you can start over, all right, in your business. I'll never forget it. One of our businesses, man, we want to talk about something that hurt my feelings. Oh, totally hurt my feelings. We had a huge contract, and we lost like $900,000 in business in it was like 2 months, right? Because the people who we were doing business with, their contract didn't get renewed, so they couldn't renew us. Oh my gosh. Like, oh my goodness. Are you serious? Okay. And while it was painful, it was difficult, one of the things that I had to get real about was like, I'm upset because I lost $900,000 worth of business. What do I know how to do? I know how to make $900,000 worth of business. And you guys need to honor the fact of what you know how to do. Whatever you lost, you already know how to do that. And you can replace that because you already did that, all right? And not only can you do that, you can do that so much better. But if you stay focused on what you lost and you keep reliving your loss instead of reliving your wins, you know what I mean? Then it's hard to come out of it. But one of the things I knew was like starting over, making money is easy for me. Like, I know how to do that. I know how to sign a contract. I know how to negotiate. That's how I got in this situation to begin. So to begin with, right? And you got to remember that when you have failure and you have losses, because it's easy to forget that the only reason you lost something was because you had something to begin with, right? All right. So I just want to break that down for those of you who maybe you need some encouragement in your business because you're feeling like you lost everything. You didn't lose everything. You know what? Making money is one of the easiest things you know how to do. And the fact of the matter is, once you know how to do it, it's just, you just keep doing what you did do. You might have lost that business, but you can go and get other business. All right. All right. So, okay. Number five reason how failures and personal crises position you to win big time is number 5 is it allows you to reinvent. And let me see what I wrote here. Okay, it allows you to reinvent yourself, right? Because, the reality is that now you have the freedom to reinvent. Like, you can tweak. Like, if you were doing the same old thing, you might not even tweak what you were doing. But because it failed, now you get to tweak it. You get to, shine it up, and you get to make it better. And I think that that's a really cool thing. The only people who don't grow are people who don't grow and change, right? So the reality is, if you have failed at something, now is your opportunity to reinvent you. Like, you get to come with a brand spanking new you and do this whole thing differently. Take the parts that work, right, by looking at what worked, and then the parts that didn't work, letting those parts go and keeping it moving. And it can have a completely different name. It can have a completely different brand. It can have a completely different focus and mission, but it can still be something really, truly amazing. And I just want to say that for those of you, sometimes when we fail, we keep holding on to that same thing. Well, I just thought it was going to be la, la, la. Reinvent it, tweak it, and make it work. Like, make it work in a way that will. And you don't have to hold on to what you thought was going to work. You have an opportunity to reinvent and create something that's new and amazing that will work. And live in the present, accept what has happened, forgive yourself for your mistakes, and keep it moving and reinvent it and go and kick ass. All right. So, I mean, and I say that, with all my heart. And then number 6 things you need to do, if you want to, you understand that how failure and personal crises position you to win, is you need to measure your growth. You need to look at how far you have come. Like, because the only reason you keep rock kicking and feeling bad about yourself is because you haven't really thought about this, right? You haven't really thought, how far have I come? Like, you know what I mean? And, so, you want to be measuring things like your esteem, right? You want to be checking things like your resilience, right? Like, think about what it took for you to begin with to be able to start that business. Think about how amazingly resilient you are to be able to have been able to get through this really hard time, all right? Instead of thinking about what failed, think about how you won as a result of, how you got through. And when you think about that, you're going to have nothing but admiration for yourself. Thank you so much. you're going to have nothing but admiration for yourself. You're going to have nothing but respect for yourself, and that self-loathing that put your head in the sand or feeling like you're not doing enough, it's going to go away because you're going to be like, you know what? I'm the bomb.com. Like, I have done all of this and taking my kids to school. You know what I'm saying? And, you're going to realize, you're going to have context, and you're going to be able to really honor yourself in the way that you could. And I want to say, you got to measure your growth. You got to look at what you've been able to accomplish. Like, go back to and say, I started this company and it had nothing. It got here. I was able to do this. I was able to do that. I was able to do this. I was able to negotiate that. I was able to do that. And even though right now it might not exist, the fact of the matter is it doesn't negate the fact that you did all of those things. And I think sometimes when we experience loss and personal failure, we forget about the results that we've done. And it helps you to know that you are invincible, because you are. All right. You did all of that stuff. And that doesn't go away because the business went away. All right. And even though, you might want to cry, because I understand that. I know what that looks like. The fact of the matter is, cry and then fall forward and just get up tomorrow and pick yourself up and understand that you are a beast and you can do this. All right. So I wanted to share that with you guys because I think sometimes we need an adjustment in terms of our mindset. Sometimes you create product, you do everything you need to do, and nothing works, right? Thank you so much, right? That nothing's working, or things don't. You thought the contract was going to close and it didn't close. You didn't get it. It happens in business. But what determines whether or not you make it is not whether or not you got that contract, but whether or not you're going to be there for the other opportunities. Thank you so much. Whether or not you're going to be there for these other opportunities that are waiting on you, they're waiting on your wisdom, they're waiting on your expertise, they're waiting on your history, and you are positioned just right because of all the things that have happened. You now can bring a whole nother level of wisdom to your proposals, a whole nother level of protection consideration to the client. You now can write more, better contracts, because maybe the contract you were writing didn't fully honor your value. And as a result of that, it was a low contract. You lowballed yourself. So you were like, what? I'm doing this business, but you're doing it at a loss. But now you're smarter and now you're better. And as a result of that, you'll never do that again. And that's a good thing. All right. I want to open the floor and see if you have any questions for me. I've enjoyed sharing with you guys tonight. I really wanted to bring this from my heart because I know that, being an entrepreneur, we always talk about, how to hit 6 figures, how to hit $500,000, how to hit 7 figures in your business. But the truth of the matter is, success is built on failure, and understanding how to navigate loss and understanding that it all works for your good is an important position as an entrepreneur. And also, it's one of the reasons that I recommend all my clients that you read, because this is what allows you to be able to have some level of mental, emotional stability when you're reading, and to know how to handle things, because entrepreneurship isn't always a pretty picture. A lot of times there are all kinds of things. I've seen all kinds of things, guys. I was telling my clients tonight, I had a huge deal with a Fortune 100 company that I had to walk away from. And I had a partnership opportunity. It wasn't right for me. And I thought my husband was going to put me out on the front list. Yes, I do. I do have a reading list. I thought he was going to put me out like with my pillow sitting outside. And I was like, closed it. I had gone to meet with the Fortune 100 company, the VP, the brand manager. They loved it. I went and met with the media group, which is in New York on Madison Avenue. And you know what? And they loved me. And you know what? And I was like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to be in this partnership. And I want out. And I said, bye. Okay. Because I have to always honor that and walk away. And, and little did I know, walking away and my heart hurt. But what happened, really, 6 or 7 weeks later, I ended up signing another corporate deal, which was very lucrative for me. I didn't even know anything about it at the time. I didn't know what was going to happen. But sometimes, I said bye, right? Because it wasn't right for me. And sometimes you got to walk away from things that don't work for you. So, I'm just saying, all right? So it's really important. Books that I recommend. One of the greatest books that I think if you want to build business revenue in your business, thank you. Yeah. What I recommend is How to Raise Yourself from Failure to Success Through Selling. How to raise yourself from failure to success through selling. I also recommend the Jeffrey Gitomer. I don't know who you are. The Jeffrey Gitomer, YouTube page. Okay. So Jeffrey Gitomer is a great sales coach, and I recommend I love all of his books, like The Little Black Book of Selling, The Little Black Book of Networking. So the thing is, if you immerse yourself in sales mastery, back end mastery, understanding your numbers, really how to win friends, influence people. I love Napoleon Hill, Anything, Success Principles, the Little Black Book series. He's got a little red book. He's got a little green book. Jeffrey Gitomer, I love him. I recommend, yeah, it is good. Think and Grow Rich. Napoleon Hill has a book. It's about this big, and I think it's called The Laws of Success. Phenomenal book. It's a phenomenal book. You can't sit down and read it like a novel. You read it to understand the laws of success, because there are laws of success, right? Laws, and Think and Grow Rich and the Laws of Success. Phenomenal book. You'll totally love it. And so I just make reading my thing. Success Principles by Jack Canfield, one of my favorite books. I have tons of books. So I'm an avid reader. It's just kind of my thing. All right, Laws of Success. Great books. Those are great ones to start with. But like I said, that's a big book, and you're going to have to just break it down and read a little bit at a time. But if let's say, whatever area you were struggling in your business that made you fail, then just invest in your mindset in that way so you can grow. And that's one of the things, so I've been getting my reading list for this year. All my books have been coming in the mail. I got one today. I just got the Business Mastery one by Tony Robbins. And then I just got this other one. Where is that at? I think I might have put it on my shelf already. By Dean. It's a millionaire book. I'm so loving the scope. You have literally saved my life tonight. Okay, awesome. So that's probably why you were here, right? You were here so that you could understand that, look, resilience is like what you do, all right? Resilience is not a word. Resilience is a verb, okay? And you're having the opportunity to stand on your mistakes and learn from them, and to, as a result of what you've learned, to be able to do something new. This is where we're at, right? And that's what's going to make you a great entrepreneur, is the fact that you made mistakes and that you've learned from them, and that you don't judge yourself because of the mistakes that you've made. We all make them, all right? So I want to also say to any of you guys that I mentioned this earlier on my scope. If you haven't seen my scope earlier today, I'm going to host for those of you who want to those of you who want to create a course or product, or you're trying to figure out for yourself, you're an infopreneur and you're trying to figure out how to create product. Thank you for this. You're welcome. I appreciate it. Thank you. All right. Awesome. I'm so glad that you got value. For those of you who want to create a course that's profitable, one of the things that I'm going to do in January, it's going to be that first week in January for 5 days. I'm going to show anybody how they can create product. Like, you're not even going to be able to say anymore that you're smart and you're sharp and you're intelligent and all these things, and you can't sell anything, because I'm going to show you how to do it over 5 days. You're going to be able to create product, but you got to be willing to commit for 5 days that first week in January, and I'm going to show you how to create product. I'm going to show you how to set up your back end so you can get so you can get paid. And I'm also going to show you how you can do some inexpensive ways to get some marketing done. Really simple ways to be able to market and sell, because people are making it too hard, Shaitan. So I wanted to make it really easy for people to understand. I know how to create product in my sleep. All right. And if you guys understand what I know how to do, then instantly you can do product launches, and you can instantly be, whenever you want to be able to make money, you can make money in your business. And I don't mean this in a hypey way, like, I don't mean that. I mean, you are product, and a lot of you guys are taking for granted the things that you naturally know how to do, and you're not understanding that you can take your education, your gifts, your skills. You can take your soft skills. I took motherhood and I monetized motherhood. My very first product was an ebook about, how to get along better with your mother-in-law. I made $97,000 from that ebook. My second product, I didn't even create it. I mean, I interviewed people and made over $144,000 with the product. There's so many different ways to be able to monetize your message, your brilliance, and people make it more difficult than it is. So I told you guys early on my scope, it's my previous scope before this one, that for, I think it's, what is it? It's for $497. I'm going to teach you over 5 days. If you register before the 22nd, it's going to be $497. I'm going to show everybody how to create a course over 5 days. So over 5 days, you're going to be able to create your product, whatever it is. I'm going to teach you 25, 30 ways, right? That's right. I'm going to teach you how to create your product, hey Jason, in a very easy way, right? Leverage what you know. Like, not even make this difficult. Like, come on, all right? And then I'm going to show you how to set up your back end so you can get paid. I'm also going to show you easy and complimentary ways to be able to do marketing. And some you'll have to pay for, but some will be free ways that you can market to get those products out there. Because that's always a question. If you have a product, how do you sell it? I'm going to show you how to do that. All right. And then I'm also going to show you what you're going to need to do to get that product out there in a really easy way. So what's some really simple tools that you can use to be able to get that product out there. For those of you who are like thinking it's got to take 6 weeks, 6 months, like 2 months, it's too much. All right. And I'm telling you, you don't need any of that. Right. We had 4 people register today. I didn't even set up a squeeze page. All you have to do is email me if you're interested, and then I'll send over to you an invoice, and you can pay the invoice, and that's that. And so the reality is that my email address is mia@findingdefinitions.com, mia@findingdefinitions.com, mia@findingdefinitions.com. If you're my Core Moms client, okay, it's included. So I bonus you, right? Because I want you guys to know this also, okay? mia@findingdefinitions.com. And I think that's one of the things that you guys will always One of the things that you will always learn from me is, if you're my client, you're already in my system, that I always look for ways to support my clients with getting value, all right? Because I want them to rock it, all right? And when people are heavily invested in themselves, then I want to invest in them, because, I know that they are serious, and that, I'm willing to plant a seed in their investment. So that's the reality. So if that's of interest to you, then you need to hop on over, email me, shoot me an email, and I'm happy to answer any questions you have. It's going to kick off the first week in January. Maybe we'll get a squeeze page up. I'm not sure. Do you recommend I add this on top of the session we will have? So after we speak on tomorrow, Jason, you can decide. It's going to be a great course. I think after tomorrow, you're going to love it. It's going to blow your mind. So I'm never going to upsell you. Why don't you first take a moment and experience it? And if, in fact, you do your 3 calls and you decide you want to do it, I'll give you the retro price, because you're already in, all right? So you get to decide for yourself whether or not it's something you need, all right? But tomorrow's going to be a great call, and I'm excited about it. We'll send over a link for you for a recording, so look for it from Free Conference also. So, because all my calls are recorded for our consultations, all right? So are there any questions for me? I'm so excited. I'm so excited, all right? What am I excited about? I'm excited because I get to do what I want to do when I want to do it. That's exciting, right? And I know you guys out there who get to do what you want to do relate to exactly what I'm talking about, but that's why I'm excited and I stay like that. So, are there any final questions? If not, I'm going to hop off. Um, if you like these scopes and you're interested in maybe seeing more of these, I've got 250 scopes in my scope school. All you need to do is check my bio out here on Periscope. You can go to the page and learn about Scope School. 250 scopes, mindset, life, business scopes. They're awesome. Over 250 hours of Scope School. And you also get one new scope added a week and one live Facebook call starting January. So I'm always going to bring my A game, give you tons of value. Scope School is no long-term contract. So you can just come in for 147, listen to all the scopes you want, and you can be in and out, but you can't come back. So if you come to Scope School and you leave, you don't come back. I'm only providing you guys with tremendous value like that because I want you to stay in, because I want you to be a private client. That's the truth, okay? So it is at a ridiculously low price of $147 a month because of that, all right? So just check my bio out here on Periscope. If you're interested in any of my other programs, okay, darling. If you're interested in any of my other programs, just check my bio out here on Periscope. I'm Mia Redrick. I'm the mom strategist. I support clients with life and business success. Today's scope was on how you can take failure and personal failure, hate by Jason, and how you can win as a result of it. If you're just joining the scope, then I recommend that you watch the replay because it was really good. And I know you're going to love it, all right? I'll talk to you guys soon and have an amazing night. Bye.